Right now, you're trapped in a world that you think is real. But what if I told you that everything around you, your struggles, your limits, your reality, is nothing more than a projection of your own consciousness? What if you could break free from the invisible prison that's been controlling your entire life? In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to escape the simulation that has kept you stuck in the same patterns over and over again. This is not just another self-help talk. You are about to uncover the forgotten teachings of Neville Goddard, a man who discovered the ultimate secret to bending reality itself. The techniques you're about to learn have been used by those who understand the hidden mechanics of the universe to create wealth, success, love, and even rewrite their past. But here's the catch. Most people will hear this and do nothing. They'll continue living inside the illusion, never realizing they have the power to change it. If you're ready to stop being a character in a story someone else wrote and start becoming the author of your own reality, watch this video until the end. Because by the time we're done, you won't just understand how the simulation works, you'll know exactly how to break out of it. What if everything you believe to be true about the world is just a carefully crafted illusion? What if the limits you think exist, your struggles, your fears, your failures, are nothing more than a program running in the background of your mind? The world you see, the experiences you live, the obstacles you face are not as solid as they seem. They are projections, reflections of something far more powerful, your consciousness. Neville Goddard, one of the most radical spiritual teachers of the 20th century, taught a concept so groundbreaking that most people ignored it. He claimed that the physical world is nothing more than a projection of your thoughts and beliefs. That reality itself is like a film being played on a screen, and you, whether you realize it or not, are the one projecting it. This means that everything happening in your life, the good, the bad, the unexpected, is not random. It is the direct result of what you believe to be true. Imagine for a moment that you are inside a video game, but you don't know you're playing. You think the obstacles are real. You think the rules cannot be changed. You think you have no control over the world around you. But what if someone told you that you are not just a character in this game? You are the one coding it. That's exactly what Neville Goddard discovered. He saw through the illusion and realized that our consciousness is the source of everything. That by changing what we assume to be true, we can rewrite the entire script of our lives. Take a look at your own reality right now. Your job, your relationships, your finances, your health. Everything you see around you is a mirror reflecting the beliefs you hold within. If you believe the world is full of scarcity, you will struggle with money. If you believe love is hard to find, you will constantly experience rejection. If you believe success is reserved for a lucky few, you will always feel like you're falling behind. These beliefs are not just thoughts in your head. They are the code running your simulation. And just like a computer program, they can be rewritten. Think of a person who has mastered this. Someone who always seems to attract success effortlessly. They don't just get lucky. They don't have some secret advantage. They simply believe in a reality where success is inevitable, and because of that belief, their world reshapes itself to match it. Now think of someone who is always struggling. No matter what they do, life seems to work against them. They take action, but nothing changes. They are stuck in a cycle of failure, not because they are less capable, but because they are living inside a program that tells them success is impossible. The most shocking part of all this is that you have been programmed since birth to believe in limits that do not exist. You were told what is possible and what isn't. You were given a set of rules about life, money, love, and success, and you accepted them without question. But what if those rules were never real? What if they were just part of the simulation designed to keep you inside? The good news is that breaking out is not as hard as you might think. You don't need years of struggle. You don't need luck. You only need one thing: a shift in consciousness. And in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly how to make that shift, You're going to discover the techniques Neville Goddard used to escape the illusion and create a new reality from the inside out. But be warned, once you see how the simulation works, you can never unsee it. Are you ready to wake up? Since the moment you were born, you've been trapped in a system designed to keep you asleep. A world where you are taught to follow the rules, obey the limits, and accept reality as something unchangeable. But what if everything you've ever believed was part of a program designed to keep you small? What if the only reason you feel stuck is because you've been programmed to stay that way? Think about it. From the time you were a child, you were surrounded by phrases that shaped the way you see the world. Money doesn't grow on trees. Life is unfair. You have to work hard just to survive. Dreams don't come true. These words weren't just casual sayings. They were lines of code being written into your mind, conditioning you to see life as a struggle, to believe that success is for a select few, and to accept that you have little control over what happens to you. And like a computer following its programming, you began to live inside those limits, mistaking them for reality. But here's the truth. Reality is not fixed. It is not something outside of you controlling your fate. It is a projection of your consciousness, reflecting back to you exactly what you believe. If you've been conditioned to believe in lack, you will always find yourself struggling. If you've been taught that love is rare, you will continue to experience heartbreak. If you've been told that life is hard, you will face challenge after challenge, never questioning whether those difficulties were part of a larger illusion. Imagine a child who loves to paint. Every time they pick up a brush, they create something magical. But one day, an adult tells them that art isn't a real career, that it's just a hobby, that they'll never make money doing what they love. That single moment plants a seed of doubt. Over time, that seed grows into a belief. And soon the child stops painting, stops dreaming, stops believing that a different future is possible. Now multiply that experience across every area of life. This is how the simulation traps you, not through force, but through the slow, quiet programming of your mind. This conditioning doesn't just come from parents or teachers. It comes from everywhere. The news fills your mind with fear. Movies tell you that struggle is noble and suffering is necessary. Society rewards those who stay in line and punishes those who question the system. You are constantly being fed a script, and if you don't wake up, you will spend your entire life playing a role that was never yours to begin with. But the most dangerous part of this programming is that it convinces you that you have no power, that you are just one person in a vast, uncontrollable world, that the system is too big to change. This belief alone is enough to keep most people trapped forever, because as long as you believe you are powerless, you will never try to break free. Look at the people around you. How many of them are living the same year over and over again? Stuck in jobs they hate, in relationships that drain them, in routines that bring no real joy. They talk about change, they dream about a different life, but deep down, they don't believe it's possible. They don't see that the only thing keeping them where they are is the belief that they can't escape. But here's where everything shifts. The moment you realize that the limits in your life were never real, they lose their power over you. The moment you question the rules you've been given, you start to see through the illusion. And once you see the code behind the simulation, you can start rewriting it. This is where Neville Goddard's teachings become a key to everything. He understood that reality is not something to fight against, but something to shape from within. That the way out of the simulation is not through struggle, but through consciousness. And that by changing what you assume to be true, you can change everything. Think about the moments in your life that still haunt you. The missed opportunities, the embarrassing failures, the painful rejections. These memories don't just live in your past. They are shaping your present, controlling your future, and reinforcing the illusion that you are trapped. But what if you could rewrite them? What if you could go back, change the story, and shift your reality in ways you never imagined. Neville Goddard discovered something that most people will never understand. The past is not set in stone. It is not some fixed timeline that you are doomed to carry with you forever. Your past, just like your present and future, is a reflection of your consciousness. And that means it can be changed. Right now, the events of your life exist as memories in your mind. But memories are not objective. They are fluid, constantly shifting based on your perceptions, emotions, and beliefs. If you change the way you remember an event, you change the way that event influences your reality. Imagine watching a movie you've seen 100 times. You know every scene, every line, every outcome. But then, someone hands you the remote and tells you that you can rewrite the script. You can change the dialogue, the emotions, even the ending. Would you still watch the same painful story unfold? Or would you finally take control? This is what Neville called revision, the ability to go back in time, not physically, but mentally, and reshape the past in a way that serves you. And before you dismiss this as wishful thinking, understand this. Your subconscious does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. When you vividly relive a moment in a new, empowering way, your subconscious accepts that version as truth. And because your subconscious is the force that creates your reality, that truth begins to reflect in your present life. Let's say you had a job interview that went horribly wrong. You were nervous, you stumbled over your words, and you walked out feeling like a complete failure. That experience stays with you, feeding a belief that you are not good enough, that you always mess up opportunities, that you are destined to struggle. But through revision, you can erase that script and write a new one. Close your eyes. Go back to that moment. But this time, see yourself walking into that room with confidence. Feel the certainty in your voice as you answer every question perfectly. Watch as the interviewer smiles, impressed by your presence. Feel the excitement as they shake your hand and tell you that you got the job. Stay in that scene until it feels real, until your body reacts as if it actually happened, because to your subconscious it did. Now, here's where it gets interesting. When people practice revision, their lives begin to shift in ways that seem impossible. They start receiving unexpected job offers. The same people who rejected them before suddenly see them in a new light. Their confidence increases without them even realizing why. It's not magic. It's simply the result of changing the subconscious pattern that was holding them back. And this doesn't just apply to big moments. You can use revision for anything. A fight with a loved one, an awkward social interaction, even small annoyances in your day-to-day life. The more you practice, the more control you gain over your reality. Imagine someone who grew up being told they were never good enough. That belief followed them into adulthood, shaping their relationships, their career, their self-worth. But what if they went back and rewrote every painful moment of their childhood? What if they imagined hearing words of encouragement instead of criticism? What if they replaced every rejection with love and support? How different would their life be today? This is not about lying to yourself or pretending things didn't happen. It's about breaking free from the limitations those memories have placed on you. When you revise your past, you are not erasing it. You are transforming it into something that empowers you instead of holding you back. And here's something even more incredible. When you change the way you remember a moment, the people involved in that moment begin to change as well. Someone who used to treat you with hostility may suddenly start acting differently. Situations that once seemed stuck will begin to shift. It's as if reality itself is rearranging to match your new state of consciousness. But the most important part of revision is that it teaches you something life-changing. The past was never controlling you. It was your perception of the past that kept you stuck. And if you can change the past in your mind, then you can change anything. So here's what you need to do. Every night before you fall asleep, Think about your day. If something happened that you didn't like, revise it. See it unfolding in a way that benefits you. Feel the emotions of that new version. Believe it, and then let it go. If you do this consistently, you will start to notice something strange. Your interactions will improve. Your confidence will grow. Your reality will begin to shift, sometimes in ways that feel surreal. Because once you understand that the past is nothing more than a reflection of your beliefs, you will finally realize the truth. Imagine waking up tomorrow and everything you've ever wanted is already yours. The money, the success, the love, the freedom. Not something you're hoping for, not something you're chasing, but something that is already real. How would you feel? How would you act? How different would your life be if you knew, without a doubt, that what you desire is not in some distant future, but already yours? This is the key that Neville Goddard called living in the end. And it's the secret that separates those who manifest their desires effortlessly from those who spend their entire lives waiting. Most people make a crucial mistake when trying to change their reality. They place their desires in the future. They say things like, "I want to be successful," or "One day I'll find love," or "I hope things get better." But every time you think this way, you are reinforcing the idea that your desire is not yet real, that it is always somewhere out of reach, just beyond your grasp. But what happens when you stop wishing and start knowing? What happens when you stop seeing your desires as something that might happen and start experiencing them as something that already has? This is where reality begins to shift. Think of your mind like a radio tuner. Right now, you are tuned into a specific station, and that station is broadcasting the life you are currently living. But just because you're hearing one broadcast doesn't mean others don't exist. There are infinite stations, infinite possibilities, all playing at the same time. When you live in the end, you are tuning your mind to a new station, one where your desires are already fulfilled. And as you hold that frequency, your external world begins to match it. Imagine someone who desperately wants to be wealthy. Every day, they wake up feeling lack. They stress about bills. They tell themselves, "I need more money." But the more they focus on needing money, the more they reinforce the idea that they don't have it. And reality responds accordingly. They continue to struggle because they are living in a state of lack. Now imagine someone who decides to live in the end. Instead of obsessing over the fact that they don't have money, they shift their consciousness to a state of already having it. They wake up and feel gratitude as if they already have financial abundance. They walk with confidence. They act as if success is inevitable, not pretending, not hoping, knowing. And as their state of being shifts, so does their reality. Opportunities appear. Money flows. Situations rearrange themselves in ways that seem impossible. But here's where most people struggle. Doubt creeps in. They think, what if this isn't working? What if I'm just fooling myself? And the moment they entertain those thoughts, they fall back into their old state. Because the truth is, living in the end requires complete trust. You cannot be half in and half out. You must fully embody the reality you want, as if it has already happened, even if everything around you suggests otherwise. Think of an actor preparing for a role. The best actors don't just recite lines, they become the character. They feel the emotions, they adopt the mindset, they fully immerse themselves in the role. And because they commit so deeply, their performance is completely believable. This is what you must do with your desires. You are not just thinking about them, you are stepping into them, fully embodying the version of yourself that already has everything you seek. But how do you do this in practice? The first step is imagination. Close your eyes and construct a scene that represents your desire fulfilled. If you want a loving relationship, imagine yourself sitting with your partner, feeling their warmth, hearing their voice, experiencing the joy of already being together. If you want success, See yourself celebrating your achievements, feeling the pride, hearing the congratulations. The key is to engage all your senses. Make it as real as possible. And then, most importantly, feel it. Emotions are the bridge between thought and reality. You cannot just visualize your desire. You must feel the emotions of already having it. The joy, the relief, the excitement. The stronger the feeling, the faster reality conforms. Now, you might be wondering how long this takes. The truth is, time is irrelevant. Some people see results instantly, others take longer. But what matters is persistence. You don't plant a seed and dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You trust that it will, and you continue watering it. This is how living in the end works. But here's where it gets even more powerful. The more you embody this state, the more the world begins to reflect it. People treat you differently. Opportunities come to you effortlessly. Synchronicities appear that seem too perfect to be coincidences. Because once you shift your consciousness, reality has no choice but to follow. And the most beautiful part? This doesn't just work for personal desires. The more you master this, the more you realize that everything in life is just a reflection of your inner world. You begin to see how people, situations, and even random events are shaped by the assumptions you hold. And as you continue to live in the end, you don't just change your life. You wake up to the truth. That you were never just a participant in this reality. You were the creator all along. What if right now, in this very moment, you woke up, not from a dream, not from sleep, but from the illusion you've been living your entire life? What if you suddenly realized that everything around you, the struggles, the limits, the circumstances you thought were unchangeable, were nothing more than a reflection of your own mind? And what if you understood that at any moment, you could step outside of this illusion and take control? Most people go through life like characters in a movie, believing that everything happening to them is real. They get caught up in the drama, reacting to events, feeling trapped by their circumstances, never stopping to ask the most important question of all. Who is watching the movie? Who is experiencing all of this? The moment you ask that question, something shifts. A crack appears in the illusion, and for the first time you begin to see the truth. Neville Goddard understood this better than anyone. He knew that most people live in a trance, completely unaware that they are creating their own reality. They wake up, follow the same routines, think the same thoughts, repeat the same cycles, believing that life is happening to them. But the moment you become conscious of your own awareness, the game changes. You are no longer just a character in the movie. You become the director. Think about a time when you were completely absorbed in a dream. It felt real. You could see, hear, and feel everything as if it were actually happening. And then suddenly, you realized you were dreaming. That single moment changed everything. You were no longer at the mercy of the dream. You could control it. You could fly, shift the scenery, change the outcome. This is exactly how waking life works. You just haven't realized it yet. Most people stay asleep because they are too caught up in their external reality. They believe in what they see, what they hear, what they experience, never realizing that all of it is being generated from within. They allow circumstances to dictate their emotions, never understanding that their emotions were creating those circumstances in the first place. They believe they are reacting to the world, when in truth, they are shaping it. Imagine a man who believes he is unlucky. Everywhere he goes, things seem to go wrong. He loses opportunities, faces rejection, struggles financially, and he tells himself, "See, this always happens to me." What he doesn't realize is that his belief in his own bad luck is what's creating it. His assumptions are shaping his reality. He is dreaming a nightmare without realizing he is the dreamer. Now imagine that same man waking up. He becomes aware of the pattern, of the role he has been playing unconsciously. And in that moment, he decides to change the script. He shifts his assumption from, "I am unlucky," to, "Things always work out for me." He starts expecting good things. He begins to trust that opportunities will appear. and slowly, reality starts shifting to match his new belief. This is the power of lucidity. The moment you become aware that you are shaping your reality, you can begin to change it. But here's the challenge. The world will try to pull you back in. Your senses will tell you that nothing has changed. Your old beliefs will try to convince you that this is nonsense. This is why so few people ever wake up, because staying asleep is easier. But if you are watching this, it means you are already starting to wake up. Something inside you knows that reality is not what it seems. You've felt it. The moments where things seemed too perfectly aligned to be coincidence. The times when your thoughts or emotions seem to influence what happened next. The strange feeling that maybe, just maybe, there is something more to this world than what we've been told. And here's the truth that changes everything. The moment you question the illusion, it begins to crack. The moment you stop blindly accepting reality as something fixed, it starts to become fluid. And the moment you stop seeing yourself as just another character in the game, you take control of the controller. But waking up is not just about understanding this on an intellectual level. It's about living it. You have to remind yourself every day that you are the creator. Every time you react to something negative, every time you catch yourself falling back into old thought patterns, you have to stop and ask, who is experiencing this? The more you shift into awareness, the more control you gain. This is why meditation, visualization, and self-reflection are so powerful. They are not just practices. They are ways to train your mind to remain awake inside the simulation. The more you do this, the more you start noticing patterns, connections, synchronicities. Life stops feeling random. You begin to see the code behind the illusion. And then, something incredible happens. The things you once struggled to change begin shifting effortlessly. The people in your life respond to you differently. Opportunities appear out of nowhere. Challenges resolve themselves in ways you never expected. It's as if reality is adjusting itself to match the new level of awareness you've stepped into. Because that's exactly what's happening. Waking up is not something that happens once. It is a daily practice, a moment-by-moment decision to stay conscious, to refuse to be pulled back into the illusion, to remember who you truly are. And as you do this, something even more powerful occurs. You begin to understand that you were never truly trapped, that the walls of the prison were never real, that at any moment you had the power to step outside of them. Now that you understand the illusion, the question is, how do you break free from it? How do you stop living as a character in someone else's script and take control of your own story? The answer is simple. You must learn to hack the simulation. But unlike what you see in movies, escaping this illusion doesn't require advanced technology, secret knowledge, or waiting for someone to rescue you. The only tools you need are already inside you. Neville Goddard taught that reality is shaped by consciousness. This means that every single event in your life, every relationship, every opportunity, and every challenge is a reflection of your internal world. The way you think, the assumptions you hold, and the emotions you dwell in are the forces shaping your experiences. If you want to change the simulation, you have to change the way you interact with it. The first and most powerful tool is meditation. Most people think of meditation as a way to relax, but it is far more than that. It is the fastest way to step outside the illusion. Think of your mind like a pond. When it is filled with waves and ripples, you can't see the bottom. But when the water is still, everything becomes clear. Meditation stills the chaos of your thoughts, allowing you to see reality for what it truly is. Start with something simple. Find a quiet space. Close your eyes. Breathe in deeply and focus on the present moment. The key is to observe your thoughts without getting lost in them. Instead of reacting to them, watch them pass like clouds in the sky. At first, your mind will resist. It will throw distractions at you, try to remind you of your problems, pull you back into the illusion. But if you persist, something incredible happens. The noise fades. And in that silence, you will begin to feel something you may not have felt in a long time. Your true self. The part of you that is beyond this simulation, beyond the limitations, beyond the programming. The second tool is affirmations, but not just any affirmations. Most people make the mistake of saying things they don't actually believe, and because they don't feel true, they never work. The secret is not in the words, it is in the feeling. You must choose affirmations that resonate with you, that feel like a reality you are already stepping into. Instead of saying, "I am rich," when you don't believe it, say, "Money flows to me more easily every day." Instead of saying, "I am loved," when you feel alone, say, "I am becoming someone who attracts deep and meaningful relationships." The shift is subtle, but powerful. It turns your affirmations from empty words into a reality that feels possible. The third tool is scripting. If reality is a story, then you need to start writing the script. Every night before you sleep, take a notebook and describe your life as if everything you desire is already happening. But don't just write it like a list. Write it as a vivid experience. Describe how it feels, what you see, the conversations you have. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between reality and imagination. The more real you make it, the faster your external world begins to shift. The fourth tool is revision. You have already learned how to rewrite your past, but now it's time to use it in real time. Every night, go through your day and revise anything that didn't go the way you wanted. If you had an argument, rewrite it in your mind as a peaceful conversation. If you got bad news, imagine receiving good news instead. The more you do this, the more you will notice your reality shifting to match your new assumptions. But here is where most people fail. They do these things for a few days, then look around and expect immediate results. When nothing changes instantly, they give up and say it doesn't work. But the truth is, the simulation is always responding. The reason some people see results faster than others is not because they are luckier. It is because they persist. They do not check for proof. They do not let the illusion pull them back in. They stay firm in their new reality until the world has no choice but to reflect it. And then something happens. The synchronicities start. The small wins appear. Opportunities that seemed impossible begin unfolding effortlessly. People react to you differently. Life itself starts shifting in ways you never could have predicted. Because the moment you stop living as a prisoner of the simulation and start acting as its creator, the simulation bends to your will. The final tool is trust. You must trust that this is how reality works, that the thoughts you think, the feelings you hold, and the assumptions you carry are shaping your world. If you can truly grasp this, then you will never be the same. You will no longer wait for change. You will create it. You will no longer look for signs. You will become the sign. And once you reach that point, you will understand the ultimate truth. You were never trapped. The walls were never real. The only thing keeping you inside the illusion was the belief that you couldn't escape. But now, you know the truth. And the moment you decide to act on it, the simulation will begin to shift in ways you never imagined. The only question is, what will you create next? You've seen the illusion. You've learned the truth. And now you stand at the edge of something most people will never even realize exists. The question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you go back to the life you've always known, following the same patterns, accepting the same limits, playing by the same rules? Or will you take control, rewrite the script, and step into the reality you were always meant to create? Neville Goddard didn't just teach philosophy. He handed you the keys to the simulation. He showed you how to revise your past, how to embody your future, how to wake up inside the illusion and take control of it. You are no longer a passive observer in your own life. You are the creator. And from this moment forward, everything you experience will be shaped by the choice you make right now. Because here's the truth. The simulation doesn't care whether you believe in it or not. It will continue reflecting your assumptions, your beliefs, your expectations. The only difference is, now you know how it works. Now you know that every thought, every emotion, every assumption is a command shaping your reality. The only question left is, what will you choose to believe? If this message resonated with you, if you're ready to take control of your reality, then don't just keep this knowledge to yourself. Give this video a like, subscribe for more, and leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Because the more people wake up, the more the illusion begins to crumble. And once you see the truth, there's no going back.